attorney for the city of Syracuse for 10 years, so there's probably not very much that I don't want to touch. But primarily, we really need to do something about economic development in the city, giving our young people opportunities so that they stay here instead of moving to other places. I would like to hire a professional to come in. See, what our economic development department does now is there's local companies that come in and they put in proposals, and then someone evaluates it and they determine whether or not they're going to give them tax breaks. What a professional economic development department does is they search out for companies that are looking to relocate. So I want to get those companies that want to relocate, sell Syracuse to them, and actually bring some new jobs to Syracuse. So that's a primary focus. Another one, of course, is public safety. That's something that's really been in the news lately. The current mayor reduced the police budget a lot last year. He cut some major programs like Shot Spotter. And of course, we want to restore all those things. Something that many police agencies do in the state of New York is they have what's called an auxiliary police department. They're professionally trained volunteers from the community, people of good moral standing that assist the police with various tasks. I'm the person that used to explain this legislation to the councilors, explain this legislation to the mayor. The mayor and the councilors would come to me for ideas how to make legislation better. I have seen City Hall from the inside out for a longer period of time than any of the other candidates. I can say that confidently, even with Khalid Bey, because he's a counselor, so he's part-time. I was there full-time for almost 10 years. So I certainly have insight to city government that I don't think that the other candidates can bring to the table.
Been in office for a decade. And I've always made the argument that when a person is true to their platform, it doesn't change much, because nobody can claim that they've achieved anything they set out to achieve. I've always been very pro reduction of unemployment, which is still the case. It is still a primary issue of importance in our city. I'm very pro housing redevelopment, which is a primary issue right now in our city, to rehab particularly 1- and 2-family homes and promoting home ownership, ultimately to improve our tax base and our revenue collection. I'm very pro neighborhood safety, crime reduction, which is still key today as well. So these are primary issues we deal with every single day. This on top of shoring up our city's finances, making sure we're eliminating waste and redundancies. You talk about trying to stabilize a city like Syracuse to create some true sustainability. That only comes with working people, with a shored up tax base, with safe neighborhoods, improved quality of life. But I think I have more of an intimate understanding of what's going on, and I think my catalog of work speaks to that. I've written more legislation than anybody in the past 25 years, and everything I've written has been organic, it's been people-driven. Whether you talk about legislation like warrants for inspection that protect tenants from landlord abuses, or disorderly property ordinance to eliminate dangerous trouble spots in neighborhoods and to create neighborhood or generate neighborhood safety. You're talking about ban the box that allow people re-entering society from the prison system to gain access to interviews so they can acquire gainful employment. Or even if you're talking about a local hiring ordinance to assure that we're employing people in the city. These are examples of legislation that I've written that speaks to our issues, not special interests, but our issues here on the ground. I think an intimate understanding of the issues is a key reason why I'm the prime candidate for mayor this year. Also, I'm born and raised here.
Public safety is my first priority. I'm a very strong proponent of adequately funding both the police and fire departments in Syracuse, and recognizing that that is the first priority of government. I have almost 40 years experience. I've been involved with dozens of local community organizations as a frontline volunteer and in leadership positions. And so I believe when you go beyond the basic functions of city government, to tackle the really difficult problems we face, whether it is a problem with housing, concentrated poverty, et cetera. That's going to require that we bring together everyone in our community, individuals, community organizations, all levels of government and businesses to effectively address those problems. When I was district administrator for the Workers' Compensation Board, the 9/11 tragedy happened. That was the largest workers' compensation event in history. And we were ready to pull teams together across the state and address those problems. I think that uniquely positions me for the leadership of the city. We're dealing with a major crisis right now in terms of COVID, but following on that, we're going to be dealing with a major economic crisis. So I am oriented, I am skilled at preparing for the worst case and in dealing with it when it happens.
Inequality in the city is a serious problem, and the city's not doing enough to address it. So when you look at my platform, it's a platform called City for All of Us, and it has 14 different points in it. Pretty much all of them go through different ways in which the city government can do more to make policy work for everyone in the city, particularly the people that have been left behind. So the 5 main categories of it are housing, transportation, economic opportunity, police reform, and climate change. One, I have this really detailed policy platform that would change the way things are right now. And 2, I'm someone that through my time on the council has displayed the kind of independent streak needed to go against the grain and to challenge the status quo. And then you go back to 2018, the first time the mayor negotiated the police contract with the PBA. I was the only member of the council that's still on the council that voted against that, because I saw that as a raise for the police department without any concession in terms of making the department more accountable. So I was a little bit ahead of the national movement for police reform there. And then the other thing I would say is most recently with the Center State CEO Tech Garden, that was a really difficult position to take. There was a lot of people yelling at me that I should just go along with the flow there. And I really believed it wasn't the right thing to do. So I was comfortable standing up and doing it. And I think that's the kind of leadership that's required, to be able to say, I understand this is unpopular, but this is what needs to happen, and I'm comfortable sticking to my guns.
We've worked really hard over the past 3+ years now towards our vision that we established at the very beginning of the administration. Our vision is for Syracuse to be a growing city that embraces diversity and creates opportunity for all. So all of the initiatives and projects that we've undertaken have been focused on advancing that vision forward. So if you break it down a little bit, we talk about being a growing city. So we need to grow. We need to grow economically. We need to grow our population. But to the end of that vision statement, we don't want to just grow for the sake of growth. We want to grow in an intentional way that benefits all people in the city of Syracuse. For too long, our growth has been limited to only certain segments of our population. And if we truly want to transform our city, we need to make sure that everyone is in a position to benefit. When you look at some of our signature initiatives, we have launched our Syracuse Surge initiative. Syracuse Surge is our strategy for inclusive growth in the new economy. So certainly proud of the progress that we made with Syracuse Surge, and that progress has been validated by follow-on investments from global corporations like JP Morgan Chase and Microsoft. So that's one example. On the neighborhood quality of life side of things, when you look at the main contributors to quality of life, we've made significant investments in housing. We're building new single-family owner-occupied housing. We're building new affordable rental housing. We're investing in our schools. We're making significant capital investments in our schools. We are addressing crime. Our overall crime rate, when you look at the 3 years of this administration compared to the 3 years prior, is down 6%. We've made significant investments in infrastructure. We're paving many more roads than have been paved in recent years. All of those contribute to a more positive quality of life in our neighborhood. So those are just a couple examples.